Yeah, my name is Ekins Perch. Yeah, and I live relatively locally. Yeah, I came from Barbados. I'm recruited on the buses, and I stayed on the buses from the time I came until I retired, 40 years. Yeah, I landed in Wandsworth, and I lived there for 4 years, and then the, my wife and I, we got married, and we got this flat just a matter of weeks before we got married. In fact, getting the flat kind of speeded up the marriage, as it were. And we've been there at the same flat from then in 68, July 68 until now.
Wow.
Yeah. So I started as a conductor, spent about 10 months as a conductor, and then the rest as a driver, finishing at Peckham Bus Garage. So I did 40 years on the buses.
Okay. Did you specifically come over for work?
Yes, we were recruited from Barbados to be on the buses. We came as conductors. Maybe all of us who were on the buses came originally as conductors. And then in those days, you can kind of asked to be selected to learn to drive the bus, which I did. And passed first time. I used to be a star driver home. So I thought it was just a bit of cake. And then I was a conductor. I had my brother working with me for some time. He's now gone to Canada 50 years ago. So we enjoyed ourselves in Southwark and the buses. The regime was very, very good. Shift work, you can always change it to suit you. In fact, after he left, my wife was still in her nursing. My wife and I had to work opposite shifts for about 23, 25 years because while she was working on earlies, I would look after the children and the schooling and the domestic part of it. And as soon as she'd come in, I'd be off and gone to begin around 5 o'clock and finish about 12:1. And I went on for about 24 years.
That's hard work.
It was, yeah.
What kept you at that particular job? It sounds like you really enjoyed it, but was there...
The hours and the pay and the ability to do overtime was very good. And then it was local to my housing. So, and my wife's work. So it was good, and the camaraderie was very, very good on the buses in those days. I mean, we had a lot of our own boys that came up and so on, and we were mixing in with the English blokes, and we got on well.
That must have helped, actually, having people coming from the Caribbean.
Oh yeah, we used to play. We used to play cricket at weekends or anything like that, you know. And it was nearly like home from home.
Yeah.
And then we were only in our 20s and so on. We were enjoying ourselves as well.
Amazing. So where did you go for entertainment?
I didn't have a lot of entertainment really, you know, because of my work schedule with the wife working opposite shifts and the children. So there was a lot of entertainment for me, really. I did work and more work.
When I've spoken to people in the past, they've said it's very similar to you, but often they'd have house parties, and that was a way of connecting.
I didn't do much partying.
No.
And one of the reasons too is that I was very Pentecostal from home, and I brought that mindset here. You know, we didn't do a lot of raving and things like that. You know, so it was more forward, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And were there churches that you used to go to?
Here?
Yeah.
Well, it's a Pentecostal church or that kind of church, not so much the Church of England.
No.
You know, the happy flappy church, and that is how it used to be when I was home. And how it remained, to be honest with you.
And was that quite important to you?
Oh yeah, it still is important to me.
Yeah.
I mean, given that from the time I can remember when I was about 4 or so, maybe younger, back in Barbados, we always went to Sunday school. And then from there, you graduated into church membership through your teenage kind of thing, So when I left home at 20, almost 25, I knew that, well, I had to kind of get into work, and family life was very important to me. And I soon got myself married. And the rest is history.
And forgive me, you may have mentioned this, but did you meet your wife here? Did you?
No. We met home in Barbados, although we weren't lovers. But she left home about she left home about a year before me, and the correspondence started. So she left. She thought that it was too handsome a blow not to correspond. And then I left about a year after, and we graduated from there until we got married.
Wonderful. And I'd like to ask you about your first impressions of London or even Southwark when you first.
Well, it was a culture shock, to be honest with you. First of all, I shared a very small room with a bloke who came on the buses with me. We came on the same plane and everything. But it was the first time I remember meeting him. I was in this small room. And my brother, he was living in the house opposite. And then when he was living again too with somebody else, another bloke. So when that bloke moved out, I moved in with him. And then we went on living together in rooms for company as well as anything else. And then we just separated. And even when I did get this flat that we are in, it was a big flat, still is a big flat. He came to live with us until he went to Canada. So I was never lonely. And we carried on a lot of our culture and behavior from home. And it was very, very good to us. And then, of course, my wife is a Bajan as well. So, it was just like marrying her next door.
Yeah. And it sounds like that was with that cultural connection.
Oh, yeah, it has been very rich, yeah.
Fantastic. Did you bring a photograph?
No, this photograph is so very old. This is when I was about 18.
That's all right.
This is when I was about 18. But I did.
Where is this taken?
That was taken in Barbados.
I didn't know that was you.
So nice, Tommy.
But I sent off some photographs to Copleston, and they think they're going to process them, and they're more when I was here.
Okay. Tell us something about this photograph.
I was my mother's boy, the eldest of 3, yeah, and I was about 18 then. I didn't know my wife, obviously. I met her in 62, when I was about 23. And yeah, she's 4 years younger than me. So she was 19, like. But my mother used to look after me in particular. And I was a little glamour boy there then. Yeah.
You were her now in that picture.
Mummy's boy. Wait, did you have siblings?
Yeah, 2 brothers. Both of them came before me. They came in England on the buses. So I had a different kind of work home, but I always wanted to travel, see the big city, America, Canada, England. But it was very hard to get into America and Canada. But the recruitment for the buses here was about tailing off. And there came a time when I thought, hey, I better be going now. Not so much to my lady that became my wife, But it was about the last opportunity I had to travel to the big city because, Barbados is only 144 square miles, which is the size of the Isle of Wight. And of course, we were always enthused by the blokes, our older blokes. I used to go to America to work in the fruit industry and so on. And when they return home, sight the boys with their accents and their, they buy a new bicycle and all that kind of stuff. We always felt too that the opportunities were in the big city.
Yeah.
And obviously I wanted to try the big city. And that was one of the things that brought me to England.
Yeah.
But then, of course, because we were corresponding, the fortunate lady and me, I thought, well, take it another level if you like.
Yeah, you did really. So if I was to ask you,
Yeah, sure.
If there's any particular area in Southwark that you love, or what is it that most attracts you to Southwark that's kept you here?
Yeah, we were here now for 53 years at Southwark, and we like the amenities, the transport network, and the parks, and a lot of friends too were in Southwark and around the Peckham area, and so we felt very settled, and we do feel settled here.
Yeah, amazing. Okay. Do you have any questions? That was really lovely. Thank you very much for sharing.
Oh yeah, good.